for fast, cheap, and reliable Madden 21 Ultimate Team coins. Make sure you guys go check out my sponsor, Easy Mutt. Use code VENOM at checkout for 5% off. Yo, what's good guys, Venom Fire here, back from the video, and today I'm bringing you guys TNC Fancy's Gun Trips Tight End Offense. Now, this has been one of my favorite series to make, and you guys have been showing a ton of support on all of these videos, so I'm going to continue to make them. Let me know in the comments on the next video you want to see, the next offense that you want to see. Might start making defensive ones as well. But yeah, today we're going to be running Fancy's Trips Tight End Offense. Got a ton of great setups out of this. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. About 75% of my viewers are not subscribed, so if you could hit that sub button, it would definitely mean a lot. It's the best way to show support to the channel. Also, drop a like if you enjoyed this video. But going into it, we're in Trips Tight End, one of the most popular formations, one of the best formations in the game. We got a ton of different plays. We're going to be running X spot, inside zone verticals, curl flat, inside cross, and then PA shot wheel. So we got 7. I don't even know how many plays that was, but we got a lot of plays. And obviously, you can build an entire offense around these setups, or you can add your own personal setups to this. Now, as far as the audibles go, I believe this is how the audibles were set. But we're not even really going to talk about PA counter go. That play wasn't used really at all, but I'm just going to set my audibles as I go through the play. So I'm gonna start out with like curl flat, inside cross, X spot, and PA shot wheel. Now also one thing I want to mention is the abilities that you need. The abilities that were used were Gunslinger at quarterback, Backfield Master, and Tight End Apprentice, as well as a Slot Apprentice right here with Mike Evans. The Slot Apprentice isn't going to be used a whole lot. It'll actually only be used in one of our setups, but you need Tight End Apprentice and Backfield Master. Gunslinger is recommended. You can also use Set Feet Lead if you choose to. But yeah, those are the abilities we're going to be running. Obviously, if you have Hot Route Master, which we do with Tom Brady, we don't really have to use any of those. But yeah, let's go ahead, hop straight into those. Alright guys, here we are out on the field. Taking a look at the plays I'm going to go over first. We got X spot, inside zone, inside cross, and curl flat. The most popular play that is going to be used today is going to be this curl flat play. Curl flat's definitely one of the best plays in the entire game, not just trips. Mostly because of this stock route with Ronald Jones, but also the post and the corner route are very, very nice as well. You got this little kind of check and release angle route where if there's a free rusher on that right side, he will actually block. But if there's not, he's going to kind of bump off, and it's a little bit of a delay angle route. That's probably the best way to explain it. And we got a couple of good setups. We got around 3 setups with this play. Our first setup is going to be a little bit of a quick snap setup. What you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and drag your B receiver. And then what you want to do is just smart out A. So it's going to look like this. You can go ahead, block your running back. I'll just show that first. But you can also leave him because, again, he kind of acts as a blocker anyways. But yeah, just a little bit of a quick snap type setup. You see B on a drag, and then you smart out A. So smart outing A is going to get him breaking very quickly. I'll just run this against cover 2. But you see, he can kind of get over the top. If he doesn't, he just frees up your drag route so much. So that's why the drag route is used a lot, because really with this tight end, when you smart out it opens it up a whole lot. Again, make sure you also run your trips on the wide side, just to give you the most space to do things. I can also go ahead and check down over here on the left. We have a nice curl flat combo. The curl routes are very underrated in this offense, and really any type of a spread offense. They're very solid, but again, be on a drag, smart out A. And then if you want to block your running back, depending on how many players he is rushing, you can go ahead and do that. But you see, if I don't block him, I can throw it to B, or I can throw it to my running back right there. But yeah, it's going to do for our first setup. And I'm going to go through these setups a little bit faster. I do have a decent amount, so I'm going to go through them decently quick. You can always pause the video if you need to go back. But moving on to our second setup out of curl flat, what you're going to go ahead and do is smart route B. Streak A, and then just motion Evans over. So Evans is going to act as our corner route now. And this is pretty decent, especially if people are shaded underneath. You can kind of motion him over. He's going to break, and sometimes you're going to throw that over the top. Obviously, if it's a cloud flat backed up to around 20 yards, it's not going to be open. But for example, if they're running like a cover 3, a lot of times people will double flat over here with their zone drops. They'll go 20 and 5 on the left, but only 5 on the right. So if it was like a hard flat, then I do believe this would go ahead and be open. Again, the setup is to just streak A and smart route B, just like this. Motion him across the formation and snap the ball right about there. you see can kind of get over the top right there. So it's a decent corner out. Again, it depends on how your opponent's playing defense, but you see right there, it can be a little sneaky corner out, especially on the short side of the field. Typically, corner outs are pretty good against cover 3. If I wanted to, I could always throw RB on a flat, but I like to have some threat in the middle of the field. So you're going to go ahead and leave RB on his route and leave that curl flat combo on their routes as well. So again, motion him over just like this. Can step up, check down, and boom. Nice little setup to add to your arsenal. Again, this one's going to be using motion, but we're going to mix in motioning and not motioning. So you'll get a good idea of both. Moving on to our last setup out of curl flat, what you're going to do is just smart route B and throw A on an out route. So when you smart route B, he's going to act almost as a crossing route, and you'll see that right now. He's going to almost act as a crossing route, just going deep down the field. You see how he's able to get underneath, or rather over the top of that cloud flat. And overall, it's going to be very solid. For example, if I change to man coverage here, just a little cover 1, you see that he's going to beat the man coverage. So again, just smart route B, throw A on an out route. Gives you a high-low read on the right side as well as the left side, but you also get that angle route if nothing ends up being open. You see that flat route's open, but look at how much separation you get from Mike Evans on a pretty decent cornerback. Casey Hayward's not terrible, and you see we're able to get really nice separation. So one more time, be on an out route, be on a smart route, A on an out route, and snap the ball. Very good against cover 3, cover 2, and man coverage as you saw, but yeah, just gave you 3 really nice setups with the play. Let's go ahead and move on to our next one. The next setup that I'm going to be running is going to be inside cross. Now, it's a little bit difficult for me to show you these setups because typically inside cross is a play you want to run when it's like a 2nd and 4, a 3rd and 1, 2nd and 5, 3rd and 5. Those types of situations where you only have 5 yards to get a first down, or 4 yards, 6 yards, whatever. The reason for that is we're going to be smart routing one of these routes, and we don't want it to be super deep. I'll show you guys the setups, and I can't simulate it in practice mode to where it would be 2nd and 5, unfortunately, but I can still give you the setups and show what they would be. Just know that these types of setups are going to be better in a 2nd and 5 situation, a short yardage situation. So our first setup is going to be with A on a post route. We're going to go ahead flat our running back with that backfield master ability that you have, or hot route master. Go ahead and slant B, flat Y, and then you're going to smart out X. So here's a look at our setup. You're going to actually go ahead and motion your far outside receiver over, and again, he would be in a shorter post, like a 2nd and 5. He's going to be breaking a little bit faster. You see right there, he sometimes can get over that cover 2, but this is more of a man coverage beater. He's not really going to beat man coverage super well here because, again, it's a little bit of a deeper post, so he's not going to break as well as he would. I'll still show it against man coverage for you guys, but again, the setup was go ahead post A with that tight end apprentice, flat RB, slant B, and then flat Y, as I'm in the incorrect play, of course. But I'll just set it up really quickly. Here's a look at the setup, and then smart out X. So again, run it. It honestly could work sometimes in this little situation. I'll see if I can throw it over the top, but you see he's pretty well defended. So again, run it situationally. Don't really ever want to run it on a 1st and 10 or 2nd and 10. One more time with that setup, it's going to be B on a slant, or B on a flat, A on a post. I'll actually audible to cover 3. Just give you guys some different looks. I'm going to audible through these different defensive play arts. But again, here is a look at our play art. X on a smart route again. If you don't know how to smart route, it's just going to be RB. But yeah, here's a look. Gives us options. We get 2 little high-low reads with the flat combo. You see B able to get wide open. I'm sure the post route was opened up, or the flat route on that left side. But let's move on to our second setup out of this play. Again, we're going to be running it out of inside cross. But what you're going to go ahead and do is you're going to smart out X again. Again, this is a setup that you kind of want to run situationally, but you actually could run really in any down and distance. Again, the post route's always going to be better if it's shorter, but smart out X, you're going to flat Y, you're also going to flat A. And this is actually going to be the only setup in the entire offense where you're actually going to use this slot apprentice. Again, if you have hot route master, that's not an issue, but depending on what you want to give up will depend on if you want that slot apprentice or if you want other abilities. But you're going to throw B on a crosser, and then you're going to throw RB on a Texas. So here's our setup. You notice that a lot of these you don't necessarily need motion, which is always nice, as I accidentally threw it to the wrong player, but you see the deep post kind of opening up against cover 2. The crosser was open late. I accidentally pressed the wrong button, but the Texas route was also open. Again, this setup is RB on a Texas route, A on a flat, Y on a flat, and B on a cross, smart out X as well. And boom, very simple setup. Overall, it can get open. You see I'm going to kind of roll out here, and you can throw X in the middle of the field deep. You got a bad catch animation. That's because the set feet lead ability is kind of broken. But yeah, one more time. That's Audible Coverages here. A on a flat, RB on a Texas, B on a cross, Y on a flat as well. Again, you can kind of set this up pretty quickly as well. You see throwing across the formation, I can lowball it, or I can possession catch that on the sideline. But overall, very decent setup. Let's move on to our next one, which will be X Spot. Now here we are in X Spot. Again, I got 2 setups for this play. Our first setup is going to be A on a crosser, B on a streak, and X on a drag. And what you're going to do is throw your running back also on a wheel route. So here's a look at the setup. What you're going to go ahead and do is you're actually going to motion Chris Godwin across the formation, so you can actually smart out him. I'm not sure if that makes it actually doesn't really make a difference, but motion him across the formation. Overall, this is going to give you some nice options. I feel like it's a very unique setup. You see crosser, the post route can get over the top, like right there, gets over that little vert hook zone in the cover 2. If I audible to cover 3 here, you will see it still will be the same. Again, here's a look at our setup with B on a streak. Sorry, I accidentally put the wrong player on the streak, but here is a look at the setup. RB on a wheel, A on a cross, and then X on that drag. Sometimes these can get a little bit confusing if you haven't practiced them, so I urge you guys, the best way to learn these setups is to actually go in practice mode yourself and follow along. But here you see, can actually throw that crosser over the top late if he is able to get open. And again, we don't have any lower route on that left side, but it's still able to get over the top if a curl flat zone against cover 3. One more time, the setup is A on a cross, B on a streak, X on a drag, and RB on a wheel route. Just like this, again, motion him across. Can always check down to my drag or my wheel route. Those are my late routes. But again, I'm always looking for that post route early. You see the wheel route was wide open, even late. I can definitely throw that drag route. So it gives us options. Let's go ahead and move on to our next setup, though. With our next setup, you're going to put A on a post, B on a slant, RB on a flat, Y on a hitch, and X on an out. So here's our setup. Again, I'm mixing in motion and not motioning, using the two very equally. You never want to have really tells with this formation, so mixing it up is going to definitely help you out. Because again, sometimes a tell will be motioning over. He's sometimes, waiting for you to motion over to do this adjustment, and then you kind of just snap the ball, catch him in a little pickle. Again, here's a look at that setup. X on an out route, Y on a hitch, B on a slant, and A on a post with your running back on that flat. So again, very decent spacing concept, especially against zone. You see I can throw that post over the top. Got hit as we threw. Of course we did. But yeah, against cover 3, cover 2, it's very decent. Man coverage, it's not the best because we're kind of just throwing those two routes on the left out of the equation. You still will have your post and your slant, but the other routes are kind of useless in that sense. Again, here's that look of the setup. You see the hitch route opens up a lot against cover 3. Against cover 2, you're usually looking for that post route over the zones. But yeah, it's going to do it for X spot. Let's go ahead and move on to PA shot, wheel, and verticals. Our last 2 passing plays. We also got inside zone. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start out with PA shot, wheel. This play is very underrated. And I do have a couple of other steps to this play, but I'm not going to go over them in this video. But we just see a lot of decent stock routes. We got this wheel route, obviously, that's the worst of all 3, but we got the crosser, we got this S-post, and S-posts are very useful this year when you motion them over. That's exactly what we're going to go ahead and do. So first things first, with this setup, what you're going to do is you're going to smart out X. Next thing is to post A, flat RB, slant Y, and flat Y. So here's a look at our setup. Very simple, and again, you see a lot of these concepts are similar with the slants, the flats, the backside flat with Chris Godwin, and then the post or the cross with Gronkowski. So a lot are similar. Here we're going to actually motion Miller over. So again, this is similar to the inside cross play where we motioned him over on that original stock post, but now he's on this S post, and I'm going to run this against man coverage here. This should beat man coverage. This is a really nice route that typically is burns man coverage, especially when you smart route him. So you see right there, boom, look at the separation. You kind of throw it over the top. Now if there's a middle third, it doesn't get as open, which I'm going to do to kind of take out of the equation, because a lot of times people won't have a deep half over on that side of the field. So here's kind of a look at what they would run, maybe something like this. But again, we're just going to try and open up Miller there. Again, smart out X, put A on a post, Y on a flat, B on a slant, or B on a flat, just like this. Motion Miller across the formation. And again, you kind of want to throw it on break. I wasn't able to because, again, the zones weren't as open. But right here, you can kind of throw it, and that's the separation I was talking about. Obviously, with higher throw power, with Gunslinger, with Route Technician, it gets a little bit better. So if you could, I recommend getting a route technician on this outside guy for that post route and inside cross, and also this route would definitely be helpful in my opinion. And I believe you have some AP because you're not using a whole lot on other stuff. But again, smart route X, A on a post, RB on a flat, B on a slant, Y on a flat. Again, you'll usually know if he's running man coverage or not, so you won't be too surprised by that. If he does go ahead and use it, or deep halves on that right side, you definitely have other options. You have the post, you have the slant. Obviously, press, it's not going to be as open. My player actually just got completely bagged. But usually that deep post will be open. Sometimes the slant is open, especially if they don't have those abilities. If it is coverage, it's not really going to be as open, but it still could. I'm talking about the post route, but obviously your other routes can definitely get open. If it's cover 2 or something, the deep half's definitely going to play it, but geez, of course we're getting hit now. Yeah, similar to the other plays, you have the flat, you have the backside slant, and then you have the post right over the top. So it gives you options. Let's go ahead and move on to inside zone here. Inside zone, very basic. You actually want to run this a decent amount, in my opinion. Can be solid, especially for people that are running 146, dollar 335. Not as heavy set formations, not as good run formations. You can kind of catch them off guard with this. Easily pick around 5 yards depending on the running back or whatever. But yeah, overall, it's typically a decent run formation. I'm in a pretty good run D in this nickel wide 9, I believe. But if I were to audible something a little bit worse, sometimes it isn't as open. So if I were kind of audible to zone, you see that corner's going to go over on the right side. And then it should open up our run a little bit better. Geez, Tristan Wirfs, you're killing me right now. But trust me, you want to run the inside zone a good amount. And you should be able to pick up around 5 a pop. Not going to show it a whole lot because you see we're getting shedded right now. But take my word for it, it is very decent. Let's move on to our last play, though. Verticals. With this play, we really have one kind of main setup. What you're going to do is throw RB on a wheel, B on a curl, Y on a hitch, and X on an out. Here's a look at our setups. Again, a little nice spacing concept, so I'm going to run zone coverage here. We'll snap the ball. You see the wheel route can be wide open. Depends on the coverage. Usually if it's cover 3, you're going to throw that corner out. If it's cover 2, the wheel route's usually going to be open. So here I'll run cover 3, wait for him to get across, and usually that tight end will be open. Again, here's our setup. And we'll go ahead, snap the ball. Looks like our wheel route was still wide open, so I mean, I guess it does depend on the formation and the zone drops and the adjustments. If it is man coverage, sometimes these curls and hitches can get open, but you usually have to aggressive catch them, and in this case, nothing was really open, so pretty bad play against man coverage. Really, your only best bet will be that corner out with the tight end, so definitely want to run it against zone coverage if you ask me. But yeah, can be a decent spacing concept, good concept in the red zone in my opinion. Again, we talked about how the hitch route could get open right there. Against cover 3, if it's cover 2, usually that curl or the out route can get open on snap. So yeah, it's going to be it for the video. If you guys enjoyed, again, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed. Let me know which offense you want to see next. And yeah, peace. I'm out of here.